Hey guys, how's it going? So, Ethan has ultimately decided to make make a slanderous video about the quartering, Jeremy Hambly. Why he decided to do that? I'm really not sure, but the funny thing about it is Ethan continues to prove to us today. I was on the bandwagon that Susan was not in his back pocket. I was on that bandwagon. I was telling people that they're full of crap. And he continues to prove to me now that he is indeed in cahoots with Susan. This violates YouTube terms of service immediately. A 2-hour video over the quartering. Are you kidding me? I get it. You don't like the quartering. I'm totally fine. If you wanted to make a response video to him, totally fine. This is a 2-hour video of him just slandering him. And for whatever reason, his wife? What has his wife ever done? I'll be honest, I have never seen his wife make an appearance on the channel. I don't know that she has or hasn't. I think my microphone might be up a little too loud. Gonna crank that down a little. I don't know that she's ever really been on the channel. But regardless, why pull his wife into it? Ethan, of all people, here's the thing. You all slander the way he looks, and you slander his wife. I know Jeremy was too nice of a person to fire back on that, but Ethan, I can safely tell you this. Your looks and your wife, dude, you cannot have what you have and criticize others for that very reason. I'm going to make a low blow on that, dude. Are you kidding me? Do you, to have the balls to insult somebody's looks the way you look. Look at you right now. Good Lord, dude. To insult somebody's looks? I wouldn't normally go after that. I don't normally care about any of that. But it's the fact that you're doing it. It's pretty gross, dude. It's pretty gross. And what does his wife have to do with anything? Why bring her into it? Very rarely do people bring your wife into it, but your wife's actually part of the show. She can be part of the criticism. But to bring somebody's wife into it that has nothing to do with any of this, that's pretty disturbing. So we're going to go through. I hope this doesn't turn out to be like a 30-minute video because I really don't want to give it that much time. But as you see, I gave a dislike to this. He's kind of getting ratioed on his own channel. The majority of the people here that are watching his channel have no idea who the quartering is. Absolutely no idea. And they're going to like his video because they're going to find this to just be funny. Nothing more. Nobody's like, okay, I won't say nobody. I would bet about 1 million, maybe 2 million out of these likes probably genuinely know the quartering. All 5.3 million? Highly doubt it. Doubt the majority of them even know. That's what I would willingly bet anyway. So I wouldn't confuse this. And the majority of the comments down here are going to be either neutral, like, oh, this is kind of funny. Summary, I speak for everyone here when I say I wish we all had... Oh, wait. It had to be 2 gay black dads deep down inside. Okay, that's a quartering fan there. But we could see a lot of people that are just commenting on certain things that he says, like he's charged with being celery. Let us proceed. I know that probably wasn't intended, but I hope it was. They probably have no idea what this is even about. All this is him judging the quartering. And I would like to give it the pass that he's just fooling around. He's just having fun. And he's like, oh, I'm being all sarcastic and satirical about it, which normally in this situation, I would believe that. If he hadn't blocked the quartering for the quartering pointing out that Ethan was violating YouTube terms of service. Jeremy just made a simple comment, not chewing him out, not being mean, being very, very respectful. I can't remember exactly what the comment said on there. But it was just like, hey man, if you want to talk about this, I'm open. We should have a chat. It doesn't have to be like on a live stream or anything. It can be private. And, let's talk about like what's going on here. It was something to that degree. I'll have to try and dig it back up and see what it was. And then Ethan blocked him. So I know this is coming from place of malice. Otherwise, why would he do this and not just reach out to the quartering? And to add to the final layer of this, why are you having a trial without letting the quartering speak for himself? Isn't that a little redundant? Just kind of gonna point that out there. This would be like a very old, like some sort of old British trial where you don't even get to attend your own trial, and then they crucify you at the end of it or something, you know, or you get what I'm saying, like from the like 1700s or 1600s. That's kind of how I get. But I'm going to play some of this for you, and then you all are going to actually understand, like, kind of where this is coming from.
Judging the antics of one, the quartering. This is the people versus the quartering. Today we judge
people versus the quartering, despite the fact that the quartering is not there.
Judge Jeremy Hambly. He is a YouTube commentator that mostly covers current events surrounding
just like H3H3.
Comics, video games, and the entertainment industry.
Just like H3H3.
He also covers drama and controversies that occur both online and in the media.
Just like H3H3.
He has multiple channels, including Unsleeved Media, focused on trading cards, and Midwestly, focused on politics, with the most popular being The Quartering, which is basically a channel for being a little outrage monger.
Just like H3H3.
Also, isn't The Quartering like a torture technique from back in the day?
Indeed.
Is that what he's referencing?
I'm not sure. It also refers to quartering troops in your house in the Third Amendment or something.
That's not what he's referring to, is it?
You don't even know. What? How can you be like, well, it refers to like quartering troops in your house or the Third Amendment or something. That's not what he's referring to. You don't even, okay, so he didn't even give you an actual definition of that second thing. And then you just instantly like, that's not what he's referring to. Just because you don't want it to be what he refers to. You don't look into it. You could have just asked him. You could have sent him an email, hey, why is your name The Quartering? And he would have told you. But instead, you automatically choose the negative. Oh, it's definitely torture device. Like, I have a question. On any of his other channels, Midwestly, Unsleeved Media, The Quartering, which one of those channels actually talks about anything along those lines? I'm really genuinely curious. It's not like Cenk Uygur naming his show The Young Turks and then denying the Armenian genocide. You know what I mean? Like where The Young Turks actually comes from, and then he actually has kind of like a thing that portrays that name. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's just such a weird little thing to get hung up on there, Ethan. You want this dude to be as negative and evil as possible. That is what you want, and that's what you're going to project through this whole thing, and it's really silly.
Hey, I'm going to stay in your house, y'all. I'm going to freeload in your house. Maybe to his wife, that's what it refers to. Jeremy is considered to be a red-pilled anti-social justice warrior simp cell.
How can you be a simp if you refuse to ever simp? I'm curious. So, like, the definition of that term really is just, it's like a way around cuck, but not being that. You're willing to give, like, you're going to suck up to a woman all the way, fully. Just, like, worship her. Do all this thing. It's kind of like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you're really, really into her. You really want to worship her. You're going to give her all your money. You're going to treat her well, almost like you're the sugar daddy, but you're not getting anything in return. You get what I'm saying? That's what a simp is. So how can he possibly be that if he's against that entirely and doesn't do anything along those lines? I'm genuinely curious. Like, why throw in all the slanders? Now, red-pilled, I mean, some people would call him that. Anti-SJW, yeah, some people would call him that, but I don't understand the whole simp thing at all. I really don't. He's not like your buddy. Like, oh, right. The content cop. You're mad about him because Jeremy called him out for what he was, a simp. And you got to throw it back at him, even though it doesn't make any sense at all. Gotcha.
The defendant is being charged with the following crimes: 4 counts of inverse social justice warrioring.
Nobody's ever used that term before. I don't know how you came up with that. Just anti-social justice warrior. It's that simple.
Which is, you know, when you're trying to be a social justice warrior, when you're trying to be anti-social justice warrior so hard that you actually become a social justice warrior.
Okay, so let's crack that egg real quick. That you become a social justice warrior. I would like an example. I would like some sort of example of this. So, to become a social justice warrior, what that implies is that you are trying to force society to uphold a certain value in a way that they must obey. Every time somebody walks up to I don't know, walk down the street, how's it going, dude? To a guy, and then that person turns around and, what if I identified as a woman? And then it's, you get what I'm saying? And then everybody else is offended that's around, that's a social justice warrior, sitting there saying, hey, you should have addressed this person as, how are you doing? How do you identify? That's kind of an example. Or if you wanted to go the other way around, and let's go ahead and go right wing with it, Ethan, so I'm fair to you. You walk up to somebody, okay, and you say happy holidays, and that person turns around and is like, it's Christmas. You understand? That would be the inverse, I guess you would say, but that's just still being a social justice warrior. Trying to punish other people for what they say and do when they don't mean anything negative by it. That's kind of what we're trying to get at, but where does the quartering do that? I'm genuinely curious. Now, I do like the pun that he put behind him, City of Fupa, you know, H3H3, although that is still an insult to a lot of YouTubers, and yeah. I don't think he understands. He's got some sort of disconnect with his comedy, and I like that he's trying to be funny, okay? I understand that he is trying to be funny. He doesn't mean anything by the City of Fupa. He's not trying to rub it in anyone's face. But a lot of people are going to take that the wrong way, just letting you know.
7 counts of criminal oafishness and buffoonery.
That's just slander. I don't care about any of that. Why? Like, you wouldn't appreciate it if anybody did that to you. I'm just genuinely curious why you would want to slander somebody, but okay.
2 counts of explicit simp celery. I feel like I'm saying celery. He's being charged with being celery? Let us proceed with opening statements from our prosecution, AB. Would you like to say some opening words, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Today, the people will advance the argument that Jeremy Hambly, a.k.a. the quartering, a.k.a. unslaved media, a.k.a. Midwestly, a.k.a. human leftover meatloaf.
Just a shot at him for no reason. No reason at all, but okay.
Has on numerous occasions violated content penal code.
Human leftover meatloaf? What do you mean by that?
He just looks like a meatloaf. I don't know. Something about
Leftover. That's hardly appropriate for this court. Please, AB, keep it professional.
Right. I apologize.
I don't understand. I legit, I don't get it. I don't understand the slandery kind of humor with it. Yeah, that leftover meatloaf. And just like, you're really making your case here. Yes, I get it. The quartering's awful. He's terrible. He's bad. He's evil. Can't you just provide the evidence for that? I mean, I know you're trying to make it a little bit more funny, but I, myself, don't personally find that to be funny. I find it to be cheap. Really cheap.
With his basement-dwelling, neck-bearded antics. Sorry.
I'll allow it.
Ethan, you indeed most of the time have a neck beard. Why are you... I don't understand. How is your lifestyle any different than his in any way, shape, or form? I'm genuinely curious. I don't understand that. Are you no longer like the nerdy video game playing fun type of person? Like, I don't understand at all.
Okay, thank you. I believe, Your Honor, you will find the defendant's behavior speaks for itself, and I ask only that you examine the evidence as I have presented it today. Thank you.
I shall do that. I will serve as your impartial judge. Now, Ian, the AI Ian, who will be acting as defense for our the quartering, please, AI Ian, would you like to make some opening statements?
Sure thing. First off,
I hate everything about that. That is disturbing as hell. Wow, I'd like to know how they made that though. That's weird. Is that just a? Did they just make lip flaps for it, or I don't know. That's interesting animation.
I would just like to say, Your Honor, that you are just glowing today.
Oh, why, thank you so much, AI Ian. I'll be sure to keep that in consideration during your arguments.
You're looking in.
Yeah, at least he's playing the corrupt judge kind of thing, so that's kind of fun. That's funny. I appreciate that.
Every single day, more and more stunning.
What is
Oh,
this?
are you stifling laughter, AI Ian? Are you making a joke out of your honor?
No, I mean,
Okay, we're gonna skip ahead a bit. This is a little annoying.
Sure.
yeah, we went down and my friend actually gets kind of wild. I have a picture of him here.
Oh my god. Okay, we get it. Let's get to the quote-unquote evidence.
First charge is inverse social justice warrioring. AB, would you like to take it from here?
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. So Jeremy has a huge vendetta against so-called social justice warriors.
Also known as authoritarians that try to tell him what to do every day.
So much so that he has looped around and became one himself, being that he spends every waking moment being upset and triggered by the most inconsequential things imaginable.
That's totally completely opinionated. But let's go ahead.
And I noticed you guys have put a Karen wig on him on the left. Is that what I'm witnessing?
Correct.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
Moving on, Jeremy is a bona fide culture crusader. He gets triggered very often by stuff that happens in pop culture, as well as politics. But the first example, if you will move on to the next slide, is about a remake of the show Shera. Netflix is doing a remake of an old show, which was about He-Man's sister. He is triggered about the redesign. He doesn't like that the new updated version of the character doesn't have big boobs anymore, essentially.
He's actually addressed this several times. No, he's not really triggered by that specifically. He's triggered by the reasoning why they did it. The reasoning of them making it gender neutral when it was supposed to be an empowered female. You get what I'm saying? It's not so much about the whole, like, oh, she doesn't have a large chest anymore. It's no, they literally took away the whole chest thing so much that she actually just looks like a man in drag. And it's like, why would you even do that? It doesn't even, I guess women don't need those strong, empowering characters anymore. No, it's incredibly gender neutral, and it's odd. It's a very weird thing. Plus, there's another complaint to be had from my personal perspective here, is the fact that they are going for the same animation on almost every single freaking TV show now. It's that whole Steven Universe, Teen Titans Go, kind of like that whole thing. And it's like, why that? Why is hand-drawn, really nicely done cartoons now changing to this very, very minimalist, like simplistic, kind of lazy-looking cartoon? It's just not as cool as what it used to be. That's kind of, from what I've seen, that's mainly the complaints about it.
And he also mentions that he wasn't a fan of the original, but he's extremely triggered by this new iteration.
I don't think he's ever once said that, ever. I would love to see a quote from that, but I don't think that's ever once come out of his mouth.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
That he wasn't a fan, but he's extremely triggered by this new iteration. I don't think he's ever said that.
Title is Disgracing Shera.
That's right.
Disgracing Shera and Strong, Beautiful Heroes. I see he's achieved a almost 50% dislike ratio on this one, even from his own fans.
Boy, is that going to be absolutely ironic. Are you serious, dude? Come on. Are you serious? He's almost achieved a 50% dislike, and here you are, Ethan, with almost the same ratio. Good Lord, don't ever point out like dislikes on a video that is literally getting ratioed like this. Come on, dude. Be smarter than that. You should have saw this coming from a mile away.
So, you know it's good.
Oh, yeah.
The Fall of Beauty, it's called. Wow. Talk about stretching that shit out.
So let's see the video they show of him.
People who aren't following this situation will think, oh, why are you even complaining? Who cares? It's a cartoon. Well, in some ways, I'm pretty progressive.
Don't worry, that's just for people who aren't following. Everyone else following closely along gets it. What he
Oh, yeah, he's doing the whole dog whistle, right? Right. How about you let it play out a bit more?
talking
Than
about.
others, I guess you would consider me more traditional in that what happened to having powerful, strong, and beautiful female role models for young women to look up to? Why must they all be gross?
Okay, I this is crazy. Like, okay, first of all, what does physical beauty have to do with being a role model?
Well, yeah, it's a good point. What does it have to be? But why do they all have to be gross, too? Why do they all have to be... Why does it have to all be realistic? See, here's the thing, is we're trying to get to this place of realism with cartoons and stuff now. It's, oh, we must have them looking more realistic. Oh, look at Wonder Woman's thigh jiggle and all that. That's so unbelievable. We don't go and watch these fantasy movies for a dose of reality. We watch these fantasy movies and TV shows to detach ourselves from reality. That's kind of the point. We make this world kind of perfect. We don't make it entirely perfect per plot point or per, say that they don't have problems or something like that. But we make these kind of perfect human beings that are out there that learn and do amazing things. That's just kind of the point. We escape our reality with it. We don't want to go to the movie theater to get a big dose of reality. You understand what I'm saying? Most people don't want to do that. There's times where it's appropriate, yes, but for fantasy, TV, movie, cartoons, all that stuff, we go there for the fantasy of it. We don't go there for the reality. If we wanted reality, we would watch some sort of like crime show or something like that, or military, or something along those lines of a drama, something like that. We would take the fantasy out of it. You get what I'm saying? That's why generally people do that. Now, I'm not saying it's not appropriate in some instances, but it's the fact that we're trying to do this in almost every single instance now, and the fans just don't want it that way, but the higher-ups are like, no, this is the way we are doing it, and they don't listen to the people who want the show to be the way that they kind of expect it to be. That's kind of the conflict about it is the consumer versus the artist. Who's right in that situation? I mean, it depends on the goal you're trying to make. If you're trying to make $1 million, it's the consumer. If you're trying to put your own statement out there and not make much money, then it's the artist. It really depends on the situation. But you just missed the point. And I think Ethan actually gets the point. I think he's just trying to become more and more left-wing for some reason. I don't know. I could only imagine what Oni and Chris and Zach and JonTron would probably say about all this stuff.
And second of all, the character isn't even gross by even, I think, any definition that's not.
If you expect that character to be a woman, then I think we would have some disagreements there, Ethan. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing remotely good looking about the character. It's very plain, ordinary, neutral. I guess gross would be a bad statement. It's not like they made her fat with warts and zits and stuff all over or something like that. But it's incredibly neutral. It's incredibly nothing. You get what I'm saying? And a plain-looking character generally is going to have the perception of not being a very enthusiastic character in general. Now, while that can be completely false, it's optics. You get what I'm saying? And what girl would legitimately be like, I want to be just like that? You know what I'm saying? That's like every guy should strive to be some big ripped Chris Evans, despite his politics sucking. That's what every dude should try to like aspire to be, whether they become that or not. But it is an inspiration in that sense of, look at Captain America. That's what every dude should want to try and do. You get what I'm saying?
Totally, like.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Very
to. Okay.
extreme.
So let's go to the next slide because I
Why
feel like
is-
the art. So here you can see the old art. Okay. And then the new art. So this is an androgynous lesbian boy, according to him.
No, that's not what he says. He says that it is a very gender neutral looking art. You know what I mean? Like, you could see clearly that there are some people in there that legitimately look like the way they're kind of supposed to be, but they make her specifically, it does look like a dude. If it wasn't for the frillies on there, if you took those frillies away, I guarantee you wouldn't be able to tell if that was Thor or not. I guarantee it. The little frillies right down here, you just made it like this, you would not be able to tell. And that's kind of the point, is this supposed to be She-Ra? Or is this supposed to be just a skinny dude that gets powers? Looks like kind of like if I, you know, it kind of looks like Kid Icarus to a degree. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the vibes I'm getting from it. Versus this, look, they're in this drawing too. There's not some big honking like things there, but this looks like a female. This does not. That's kind of the point.
It really just looks like a modern day, and like this is like kind of the in style norm of cartoons these.
Well, see, that's the problem too, is you could tell the detail. You could see the little like muscle arm thing there. Where's the detail in any of this? That's my biggest complaint, honestly. My biggest complaint is lack of detail. Just, I mean, look at the, like, I don't know, just in the robes in general of all of this. But even still, this is kind of the funny thing about it, right? This is supposed to be a female, right? And you could tell this is a female right here, despite the whole darked out face and all. I don't know. It's little things like that. There's a lot of detail in all of this here. Look at all the picture. Like, it's just, even in the background, unbelievable detail. And this looks like just Photoshop pictures slapped together and transparency's toned down. You could make this in a couple of hours what this would take days to create. That's kind of my point too, is it looks lazy
these days.
Well,
Whereas this is very like 80s.
Yeah.
But it's a show for kids, clearly. So he's upset they shouldn't have big ass knockers.
Are there big ass knockers here? Hers are bigger. Hers right here are bigger. These aren't very big, but these are bigger. These are actually pretty big too. But these, they just don't look as big. Maybe it's because she's in the foreground, but that's not the point. The point is you can tell that is a woman.
Right. I believe in the end of the show, she actually is a lesbian. I mean, that's pretty insignificant, but yet
But he was able to call it completely before the show even aired. Isn't that amazing? But it's not warranted, right? The fact that he was able to point it out.
says that he straight up says this is a boy.
Yeah, it's not a boy.
How do you know? What feature led you to believe that it wasn't the boy? Is it the name only? But what feature was it? I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah.
I think it's retarded.
Hey, watch your language.
Says the guy who drops N-words on, his show.
But the point is well received that he's basically just social justice warrioring for basically cartoons to be a way that he likes with big ass titties.
No, he never social justice warrior. He never said they shouldn't ever do it. He never said that they were wrong for doing it. He said he was annoyed with it. He said that whatever happened to the progressives saying we need strong female characters, and then them changing this to what seems to look like a boy. He's making their point, saying that they're contradicting themselves, which they constantly do. He pointed out a contradiction. Is it social justice warrior-y to do that? He's not being authoritarian in this situation. He's saying that he thinks it's dumb and he doesn't like it. There's no such thing as a social justice warrior sitting there. I would never call somebody a social justice warrior who says, I don't like when people don't ask me for my pronouns. Okay? The moment that they go out there and start telling people, you must start asking me for my pronouns and get irritated, that's when I consider them social justice warriors. But there's a difference between a passive opinion and a very aggressive opinion. okay, where you're trying to be authoritarian to somebody. I don't find what he's doing to be authoritarian. I think he's simply giving out an opinion. There's a difference between that, and you can't seem to really distinguish that. That's what I kind of find irritating about this.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, well-received point.
So moving on, this video is titled "White Guy Reviews Black Panther 800% Woke."
800% woke?
800%.
We've never seen that level, woke levels that high before.
It's over 9,000.
I bet you didn't know that.
Jeremy was triggered over Black Panther's positive reviews. He thinks Black Panther was mediocre, and he even says that being proud of your skin color is as stupid as judging someone else's for theirs. And
That's absolutely correct. What is wrong? What is wrong with that statement? I'm genuinely curious.
so if you want to take a look at the video.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Being proud of your skin color is as stupid as judging someone else for the color of theirs. Could you imagine? I mean, how easy are people to control? The overarching message from mainstream media around the Black Panther phenomena is simply to say, you're black, you need to go see this movie. This is a primary problem I have with labels. It's a problem I have with labeling myself but with any political ideology, and I don't label myself by something as absurd as the color of my skin. Something I had zero control.
Yeah, this is kind of a classic argument that you see. I don't want to say white supremacists, but it's like a super obtuse way of looking at skin and identity.
What kind of statement are you trying to make? You don't want to say white supremacist. That would be a good thing because it would not even be close to that. Why is it that people on the left now are all of a sudden so worried about skin color and thinking that for some reason that doesn't involve some sort of supremacy? Okay, here I am, a Native American, all right? I could give a crap about my skin color, heritage, or anything like that. I could have came out as anything. I could have came out as black. I could have came out as white. Who knows, like, what I would have came out as, before I was born, before any existence. That's something that I don't have any kind of control over in any way, shape, or form, which is what he was going to say. When you cut it off. Why is it that should ever matter? Okay? If I come out as a normal, healthy human baby with no problems whatsoever, why is it that I should give a crap about any of the things that I'm predisposed to? I'm genuinely curious.
Is because being proud of being white is like, white supremacy. Like,
no, it's not. First of all, being proud isn't what I would call supremacy. I would just say that it's stupid. Why be proud of something you can't control? But that's not a supremacy thing. A supremacy thing would be, I think my race is superior to everyone else's. But to sit there and say that that's supremacy is ridiculous, dude. Like, I don't understand that. But let's go ahead and turn it on the inverse then, because I wonder if you will say this. I haven't seen this part yet. I wonder if he will say this. If black people are proud of their skin color, if it would be black supremacy. Let's go ahead and see if he makes the inverse argument.
Let's be honest, that's the heritage. Whereas it's not even like black power. It's like, hey, we have a superhero film with a black lead, which is something that doesn't occur frequently, or a movie with all black cast that not only.
What do you mean? An all-black cast movie happens actually all the time. You just don't look for it. There are plenty of movies out there. There were movies like that coming out in the 80s that were all-black casts. I mean, good Lord. You ever seen The Nutty Professor? You ever seen Coming to America? Have you ever seen Blade? I mean, it's not all black, but why should it be all black anyway? Why should any movie be all of one thing? There are a lot of movies out there that are all black, though, if you want to see it. There's The Wiz. There's a lot of all-black movies out there. You just choose not to see it. Any of the Medeas or any movie that's really by the Wayans brothers or, you know, any movie... There's actually a lot. There's a ton. There's a ton of them. But why does that matter? I never watch a movie. I never subconsciously think, I am going to go watch this movie because it's all white cast. Or I'm going to go watch this movie because it's all Native American cast. I like old school, like, Westerns with Native Americans and stuff like that. But I've never once thought, I'm going to watch this movie because there are Native Americans in it. Never once. Has not occurred to me. So, I don't understand that portion of it. Okay? I watch a movie to see if it's going to be good or not. If Star Wars came out where it was an all-black cast, as long as they did the story well, I'd be happy with it. I don't care. My favorite Marvel movie of all time is the Blade trilogy. I know a lot of people hate Blade 3, but I love it. I absolutely love the movie. Blade 1 and Blade 2, and especially Blade 2. Blade 2 is a phenomenal movie. Doesn't matter to me that he's black or not. I absolutely do not care. Fantastic movie series. One of my favorite movies ever of all time is Rush Hour. Absolutely love it. Chris Tucker is phenomenal in the movie. I actually bought my Corvette because of Chris Tucker's Corvette from Rush Hour. That's how much I really just enjoy the movie in general. Has nothing to do with skin color, dude. I don't understand your comment on this.
That's a good movie that people are loving and watching, and as you know, little black kids like having role models and seeing themselves
Now you're making the argument that he was making about Shera. That's kind of my point. Right there. So now, women who want to become strong, beautiful, and have everything, you understand the difference there? Versus being it very, very neutral and a woman or girl not in general not being able to connect that is actually a girl on screen. See what I'm saying? Versus it's very important for black people to be able to identify themselves on screen. You're making a bad argument with this.
Represented in popular media. So it's easy for him to make that argument of like, it's so stupid. I would never go watch a movie because there's a white lead in it. Is such an obtuse take because, yeah, like 90% of all films have white leads in it, right?
90% of all films. That's kind of a stupid statement. First of all, no. No, 90% of all films do not have white leads. In fact, I would argue that 90% of all films have minority leads in it because you're leaving out a ton of movies out there in the marketplace. I watch a bunch of kung fu movies. I've watched a bunch as a kid. I watch a bunch still today. I watch a bunch of anime. I watch a bunch of, actually, quite a few Bollywood movies that are really well done. And the majority of movies out there in the world today probably do not have white leads, just in general. But I get what you're saying. The majority of Hollywood movies probably do, but there are so many Hollywood movies that don't. I mean, think of actors like Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, Chris Tucker, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, Wayans brothers. There's so many prolific black actors out there that are in leads. So many movies. The Rock is not a white guy. And he's in a ton of movies that are really, really well done. Like the remake with Jumanji, actually, I find to actually be pretty good. Journey to the Center of the Earth, I thought was a really funny movie. I know probably a lot of people didn't like that as much, but I genuinely thought it was a good movie. There are a lot of movies. Tons and tons and tons and tons of movies with black leads. And you just discredit it all. It makes me wonder, Ethan, if you indeed are trying so hard to cover up any form of racism you might have. Any kind of biases you might have. You have that whole same kind of perplexity about you, like the extreme left has, to where it's like, oh, we need to help the black people because they can't do it themselves. And that is so insulting and ridiculous.
Right. So it's like, cool take, but really, it's really just not. It's dumb. But
Your whole argument here, okay, Ethan, the argument, your argument's dumb. Not the quarterings. Your argument is awful, and I'm going to end it with this, okay? Your argument legitimately was, if you are white and proud of your skin color, it's a form of supremacy, but if you are black and proud of your skin color, it is a good thing. That was your take. And I'm very sorely disappointed in it, to be honest. And that's what you're going to bring to the table. And this is your whole show? This is your whole judge show? Like, what a load of cringe, dude. Seriously, I went 40 minutes into this crap. I am not going any longer than that. 2 hours, not even going to come close to that. But geez, I didn't even want to give a quarter of the time to this. I ended up doing it anyway. Maybe I'll make a series out of this or something. I don't know. But he later goes on to criticize that he covers Brie Larson a lot when you cover Keemstar constantly. Constantly. In almost every other video, you're talking about Keemstar in some way, shape, or form on your podcast. It's annoying. You're attacking content creators. You have Susan in your back pocket. It's unbelievably frustrating because you are breaking terms of service by punching down especially. And what? Any consequences to come from it? No. Absolutely none. Just in general, I can't stand it. I really can't stand it from this perspective. Ethan, you've lost the plot. You have a lot of thinking to do. I suggest you get together with JonTron and some of your other friends and really sit down and have a good conversation. I almost wonder if JonTron and them almost just don't want to hurt your feelings. But I don't know. Anyway, guys, this is kind of what's going on. Please like, subscribe, and share, I guess. Tell me what you think of this. This is going to be a 40-minute video. Hardly anybody's going to watch to the end of this. I guarantee it. That people make it about 10 minutes in, if anything. But anyway, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.